My name's guy.brush, and for the month of February I'm going to be making a song a day. That's going to be 28 songs by the end. The idea really is to kind of push myself to actually sit down and make music. The biggest challenge really making music is kind of getting over being defeated a lot of the time and hating things you've made, because you're going to make 1,000 crap songs before you make any one that's any good at all. So you've got to just put in the time. Now, I don't really do that as much as I would like to, so I'm going to force myself to do that for the month of February and actually produce work. I'm not really going to be focusing on the quality of the songs that much. Like, really the idea was just finish one a day. As long as I've learned something or I've done some kind of experiment or something interesting in the song, I'll be happy. At the end of February, if some of the songs had really good ideas or could be extended, could be made into decent songs, I'll take them forward from there and I'll try and maybe do something with them. What I'm going to do is, this YouTube series is just going to be kind of me showing stuff as I'm doing it. Like, each day I'll be showcasing a different problem I had, maybe, or a little showcase of the song. Afterwards I'll upload the song, obviously, or whatever. If people want, I might also upload the stems. I'm not sure about that yet, so I'll have to see. My own experience, I started making music 2-3 years ago. I do now. I had no knowledge of music theory. I couldn't play any instruments really to any decent ability whatsoever. And I started out playing synthesizers. I bought a microCog synthesizer and used to sit awake in bed all night with my headphones on, figuring out how synthesis worked. And I've learnt a lot since then. I've used Reason and Ableton a decent amount. I kind of know quite a lot about production, I would say. Now I'm okay with it. So that's where I'm at now. I'm not really advanced or anything. I'm pretty much, whoever's watching this, you could probably do the same thing as me. So I'm going to be using mainly Ableton Live. Is going to be the kind of hub for everything that I'm doing. I'm going to record everything into that, do all the mixing and all the production, everything like that. But on top of that, I'm also going to be using Game Boys with the tracker LSDJ. Maybe some other trackers like Renoise. Guitars, I have 2 guitars. I've got an electric Fender Strat down here, and it doesn't really matter in the room where they are, does it? And I've got an old beat up Spanish guitar that I might record in the microphone. So we'll see how that goes. Also, I may be doing collaborations with other people depending on the interest of this. Again, it's really just about experimenting. Now, the first issue I had in this first song, I made a short loop, and I felt that I wanted to add some vocals. And I can't really sing. I don't appreciate myself singing at all. I've never been comfortable hearing my own voice played back to me. So I wanted to break out of that kind of discomfort area and solve that problem. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to process my vocals to make them sound what I think good, because obviously my clean vocals aren't that great. So what's basically been happening is there have been a lot of takes, actually, of this video, but mostly a lot of takes of the vocal lines. The lyrics, I'm not a really great lyricist, so they're not really high up there for me in music. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings there. But I basically just kind of stole the lyrical idea or the focus from Washed Out's Feel It All Around, and then kind of just went from there. So, they don't really mean anything, there's no deep meaning, it's just I wanted to put some lyrics and I wanted to put some vocals in, that's there. So there's been loads of takes of me trying to record these vocals, and now I'm going to show you kind of some of the processing I did to make them sound sort of okay. Okay, so I'm going to just run you through the track real quick. So basically, the biggest issue, the majority of the time, is I'll spend on trying to fix the vocals. Now, my vocals are really bad. This is my own singing. It's pretty terrible. There's bum notes, etc. Basically, the idea was, there's a cool technique you can do that I'm not sure if a lot of people know about. It's best using drums, usually snare drums. If you want that old kind of, not old, I'm saying like kind of lo-fi tape compressed sound, this is a good step to start. Sometimes you can take sounds and, believe it or not, you compress them into ridiculously low quality MP3s, and you actually get sort of a cool sound out of it. Now, it sounds bad here, but what you do is you layer it. So what I've done is I've layered it with like a full quality version and a 32 kbps version that I've compressed MP3. So the 32 kbps version sounds like this. It's really kind of, all the highs gone, right? You may notice there, if you actually look, I've just done a bunch of cut-ups there. So to kind of cut up the vocals, add a bit more, I don't know, maybe some bit more to it, right? That isn't on the full quality vocals. The full quality vocals are straight. They're normal, so they're completely normal, right? So I like doing vocal cut-ups, but I want it to be quite subtle in this song because it doesn't really suit to do some kind of Danny Bird style, I don't know, kind of weird stuff. So there's not really that much else to it. The majority of the track, like the groove, is this kind of guitar riff, which is literally just me playing a guitar. I literally played like a couple of notes, just a little riff, jammed it out, cut out the best recording that I had, cut that up, and then I had split it into two so I could EQ it separately. So I have my bass EQ. I use Ozone for EQ, ridiculously good EQ and compression, very good for reverb as well. My EQ here isn't that great, so it's just kind of a quick job. Anyway, the bass is just it's pretty much like that most of the way through. There's a couple of changes throughout the song, but anyway, right? And then the high layers on top of that and goes like this. And you can see I've removed the bits where they kind of collide, so I've taken the highs out of the bass and the bass out of the highs and vice versa, because that makes it kind of cleaner. But I've also filtered the two. If you look at these filters here, I've filtered out the low end and I've filtered out the high end of the bass and the highs and the bass respectively, because that's just a good practice to do. Like, it just gives you a kind of cleaner sound. Like, you could EQ that stuff out, but if you just filter it out, it's gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It's not going to come back and screw up your song later on. So it's just a good thing to do. Drums are really simple. I just use like bass drum sample, 3 claps, that was it. These are the drums, this is it really, there's nothing else to it. The EQ, each drum has its own EQ, is kind of standard. It's all Ozone again. You just kind of, actually the bass drum isn't EQ'd at all, that's kind of weird. I thought I did EQ that. I think that relying on, oh no, yeah, it's here it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I use these are a free kind of equalizer plugin, a set of VSTs that you might want to use. I got them off Laidback Luke. He uses these VSTs. I just heard about it in an interview. I was like, okay, I'll check it out. They're not great, but they do the job, and they are very low on processor power. So like, you can run hundreds of these and your PC will be fine generally. It's not like it's just a short parametric EQ. You don't have much to it, but it's pretty cool. It does the job, right? So it's nice for drums, because you usually have a lot of drums. You want to EQ them all individually. After that, I generally put some compression on top of all the drums to kind of glue them together. You'll hear people say that sometimes. It kind of brings it together. So yeah, that's pretty much just the drums right there. There's nothing really else to it. And later on, there's this bit here, the guitar changes. I didn't actually play that, I just took that and screwed around with the notes a bit, so you can see here, and I've just transposed these in the actual editor, just messed around, figured out what the notes would be, and then transposed them and then shuffled them a bit, so you get this kind of cool pause there. The cool pause, which kind of gives it a bit of an edge. After that, this is my vocals, just continued cut up and pitched down to try and make them useful. It's alright, I'm not particularly happy with that. I probably would change that if I was going to continue on the song. So we'll see how that goes. This entire track is really just noise sweeps and background bass. So there's this weird background sound you'll hear, and there's sweeps. Kind of just bring transitions in a bit more. At the end there's this 8-bit synth. I have a couple of 8-bit VSTs, I don't use many of them. I use Mini Sid, Peach, Triforce, and Magical 8-bit. Mini Sid is pretty good, it gets a pretty decent Sid. Oh yeah, Basic 64 is a much better Sid VST, but it's more complex. So anyway, I'm using Mini Sid here, and it just has this sound here. And there's just piles and piles of reverb and ping pong delay on there. So that's pretty much the whole song. Oh, there's this bit of vocals at the end, editing, that kind of... I think that's the best use of the vocals, really. It's the only thing that doesn't sound crap, I personally think. And then this keeps going with the thing. So that's pretty much the whole track, really. The vocals were kind of a failed experiment, but that's, 28 songs, 28 days. Obviously, some of them are going to be crap. So anyway, I'm going to switch now, and this will be the end of the video. So cool. Day one, not a huge success. Vocals, really a mistake. Going to get somebody else to do vocals in future. But still interesting experiment. Learned quite a bit. not too bad. I could use my own voice for vocal cut-ups, which I might do in future songs, but really actual singing, let's never do that again. Had to fiddle with some pitch correction software, as in auto-tune, and that was pretty fun, but really it doesn't fix my problem as in the way I kind of want it to. I actually just want somebody who can sing. So tuning tomorrow, we're going to try and do something more pop, so power pop, more happy, maybe a bit chiptuney, kind of actually more intense. This song really there wasn't much song to it. I wasn't really too into it, so we'll see anyway. If I was going to continue working on it, vocals would be scrapped completely. I'd get somebody else to do them. I'd expand, actually progress the song. The song doesn't really progress that much. It's just kind of a little jam, you know. It's like it's chilled out. Really, it's not something you remember. It's not really much of a song. So basically, not great success, but really it's day one. Whatever. We'll see what happens. So see you tomorrow, day 2.